those who are going to contest for the position of vice chairman. I'd let you know that there are 3 positions that are uncontested at the moment. And just one second. And that is the position for Assistant General Secretary, Financial Secretary, and Social Welfare Secretary. These 3 positions are returned unopposed. First and foremost, I would like to call on Silk Ogbu, who is an associate professor of political communication. He will introduce himself to us and let us know what he will be bringing if elected as vice chairman. That's Silk Ogbu.
Good evening, fellow residents. So my name is Silk Ogbu. And like the moderator said, I'm a teacher. I like to call myself a teacher. I'm an associate professor of political communication and relationship management. And I teach a few things that I think that are relevant to our community. I teach community development. I teach communication, I teach leadership strategies, and I teach negotiation at the Lagos Business School and also at the School of Media and Communication, both in Pan-Atlantic University, Lagos. Before I started teaching, or before I joined the academia, I had been in all kinds of management positions. I have over 25 years of top managerial experience span across the private and the public sectors. And I have lived here for over 24 years. I fell in love with VGC when I came here the first time. And for me, this is paradise, that paradise by the lagoon. I mean, I've lived in other places too, but this is the only place where I sleep with my eyes closed. And for me, this is really very important. And I've tried to be a member of this community in a way that I can. If you, as some of you may be aware, the institution that I currently work for, talking about the Lagos Business School, and the Pan-Atlantic University School of Media and Communication, some of our core values include excellence, integrity, professionalism, collegiality, respect for everyone, but more importantly, service to community. Service to community. So what I think I'm doing is that by volunteering to serve VGC Pura, I'm merely and naturally extending my work to our community. And it will be, for me, a very interesting way to show the love that I have for VGC, and also to get to know a lot more people who live here in this estate. And just like many of us, I have a few concerns. I have concerns about electricity, about water, about infrastructure. But more importantly, I'm concerned about the relationships in the community. I think we have divided, deeply, deeply divided. And so I think a lot of things that we can do. I believe we can do a lot to rebuild relationships. And I also think that in doing that, my role as a vice chairman will be like the natural spare tire. I will support the role, I support the chairman in every capacity that I can to ensure that we build relationships, we strengthen networks. One thing that I think that we can do, I mean, from my own experience, is that we can start to look at networks. We have looked so hard on our needs over the years, but I don't think that we have leveraged our assets. We have people here, eminent people here, who can help us with electricity, who can help us with water, who can help us with all kinds of challenges that we're currently having, but we have not done enough to pull them in. And we keep looking at maintenance fees, we look at development levies, when we can actually increase the revenue from our own social capital. So there are so many things that we can do. As a spare tire, I will support the chairman, whoever emerges, and we can begin to reimagine a new future for VGC, a future that we can build together. And we will no longer have camps, because a few people have asked me, are you in this camp or in that camp? I'm in camp VGC. That's the only camp that we should have. But it will take a lot to build a united camp. There's a challenge there, obviously, and I think that I understand the mistrust that we may have to deal with. But it's something that is possible to overcome, and I believe that it is a role that we can all play.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yes.
Thank you. I would also like to call on another contestant, Lola Bolariwa, to come and talk to you as well. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Lola Bolariwa, and I'm the current vice chairman. I'm seeking for re-election. I want to first and foremost thank everybody for the opportunity for the past 2 years to work with the community. And I want to return all glory to God, because nobody can achieve anything except God is with you. Can I have the slides? I'm a lawyer of over 24 years. I worked with the Balaji and Yorinde and Co-SAN. I worked with Koyankuti before I started my own law practice. I'm into commercial corporate practice. And in these last 2 years, quickly, what has happened? You have supported us to have milestones. When we got in this time last year, the first thing I noticed was that all the park chairs were run down. I called on 4 of you here. I can see 1 of you here. And they brought the money, we refurbished the park chairs, and that's what we have today. I noticed that when people go around the estate, they are dropping litters on the floor. I reached out to Mr. Oloyede. He gave us the money and we did the dustbin with Rotimi Oluboboku. I want to thank all of them. And then I found out that every month we are spending 500,000 to throw away garden waste. We did the recycle. So now we no longer spend 500,000 monthly to throw away garden waste. So now you as a resident can even take your garden waste and they will give you money. We moved on, we saw that during the NSAS, we were very porous and people came in from the commercial area. With the help of everyone sitting down here, we did the perimeter fence. There was a day I was going on my walk, I saw Mrs. Ayansi. She had painted 2 poles. Can I have the poles back? She said she's a member of the beautification committee. And she said, oh, that she's doing community service, she painted her pole. I went back to the EXCO, and to the glory of God, all the poles in the estate are now painted. In fact, Mr. Arjun came to my office to say, Lola, thank you. I want to thank everybody sitting here for the support. We can see the lights. We saw that the lights were getting dimmer. We have started. We have done all the 50s, all the 60s. We are coming to 40. And by the grace of God, we will finish it. In this, in the last year, for those who read the audit that we presented, we were able to save 68 million naira in the last year. It's in the audit. We can all go back and look at the audit. we saw that a lot of people were not paying before. We reached out to them and we could collect more money. And this is the picture of the perimeter fence. Nobody can jump in now because that is done already. I would quickly round up by saying that in VGC, we have current problems. Then we also have historical problems. One of the historical problems is the lights. I've been living here for almost 22 years now. I have the newsletter of when Mr. Mobolaji was chairman. Lights was a problem. But the historical problems we are dealing with then, and we'll get to it. Water. The reason why VGC water emerged was because Chai had a problem. And to God be the glory, VGC water issue, we have resolved stage 1. This week now, we will get the Lagos State government put a panel together, which I'm part of. We went for mediation. The governor appointed a senior special advisor to be on the panel. And so what has happened now is that we will have an SLA, we will have the review, and we will have the template, a price template, a pricing template. So in future, it's not that somebody will come and say, this is what you are paying for water. We will input all the variables to get a price. I want to thank everyone because I know that some people, when they talk about communication, a lot of VGC people don't read. So what we intend to do in the next dispensation is to do short playlets. People here are very busy.
All right, your time is up now. The time is up. Thank you very much indeed. I'm sure you can reserve that one for questions when people want to ask you questions. Okay, we will still recall both contestants for the position of vice chairman to answer questions from members of the audience and of course, those who are online on Zoom. If you have questions, please signify your hand if you want to ask a question from the two contestants. And then of course, somebody will be on hand to hand you the microphone. Do we have any hands?
Thank you. Thank you.
Before you ask your question, could we have both contestants be on the rostrum over here, please? Thank you. I also believe that we do have a few people online who would like to ask questions as well. So we have Silk and of course, Lola. So first question.
Thank you. My name is Ife Alabi. I live on Close 64. There is a popular saying that your words must be your bond. I want your reaction to this, especially to Mrs. Lola. Why I'm asking this question, there are so many other issues I will have touched on, but I won't go into all that. But this one is most particularly of importance to me because of the security situation of the country and of the estate. In March, in this same hall, when you acted as a vice chairman, when you acted as a chairman for the meeting, you did promise us that in 6 months' time, there will be a questionnaire to us all to appraise the new security. I want to, some are whispering some, but my point is, I never saw any questionnaire given out to me. And this calls to question if your words will be banned. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. In answering your question, can I answer the question?
Yes, you can.
The questionnaire did go out and the meeting did hold. But like I said before, VGC people are very busy. Do you know on a platform, road rep platform, there was a message that was sent out and people were still asking that, where is the message? I had to screenshot the message and send it. The questionnaires were sent out, the meetings were held for the review, and the review is still ongoing, sir. Everybody who knows me, Lola stands by her word. Thank you, sir.
Silk.
Okay, so I'm not sure really if that question was directed at me. Yes, that was, yes.
No, the question is not for you,
Yes,
but if
yes.
your word will be your bond.
Oh, yes, my word will be my bond. Because I don't know anywhere, I don't know anyhow else that we should do this. But just to, a lot of us have said things about communication today. And I want to say that to make this easier, we have to unpack this entire process. What it means is to share meaning. We can't assume that email will be the best approach to communicate for everyone. It may not, it may work for some people, but not for others. So we need to dynamize our approach. We have to think deeply about the message. How do we make the message appealing to every demographic? Maybe we, of course, in this estate, we have a lot of retirees. They may prefer a different approach to communication. For these people, we should do more of consultation. One-on-one, can help them. And of course, we should have different platforms that can be, leveraged to ensure that the messages get across. I'm saying that, yes, maybe, yeah, there are different other things that we can add if there's opportunity to do so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have questions from people online. Next, of course, is Mr. Kayode Sofiano.
I'm already standing.
Okay, we're having some issues with the online platform. Anyone in the audience seated would like to ask a question?
Hello, good evening, all. My name is Mr. Ehi Ulinfo, has J50A, row 3, close 6. This question is coming based on the presentation from our outgoing vice chairman. You see, in any projects in business school that we were taught that every project is time bound. Based on your presentation, you have just made us know that the water rate increase from about 560 to about 1,000, which is about 96% increase, was unattended to until after 2 years that you have stayed in your office with the present management. We are at the stage of the government appointing somebody for an SLA. Would you agree with me and the whole of this house that that time frame is totally unacceptable in any project delivery? So if we give you another opportunity, it therefore means that in another 2 years, probably would have moved from stage 10 to stage 20 or 30, which is outright failure. I want to also mention, when we sit here as EXCO or even as leaders, we need to empathize with our neighbors. That is why we are called neighbors.
Thank you for your
as a leader, you have empathy, I am sure that time frame is totally unacceptable in any project standard in the world. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Ehi, thank you so much, because I know that you just moved into the estate not too long ago. Water problem has been since the time of child. The water company was set up because of problem. And some of the residents, actually, some people like you came to the meeting, you want us to go and shut down the plants. If we shut down the plant, you are young, you can fetch water. What about the old people in this community? Can they fetch water? And if you do anything with government, you will realize that government takes time. They wrote letters, we went there severally. Even I reached out to Mrs. Funkadekwaju, we all went there. Government takes time because VGC is not the only problem. So for you to be giving a timeline for government is wrong, because this water problem had existed. VGC is over 30 years. This water problem had existed almost 26 years ago, since the formal people. So you cannot expect that you now give one EXCO. You are measuring an historical problem by one EXCO. I'm sure if you come, there are so many people who came in. Thank God, Mr. Lowu that is contesting for chairman is in the water committee. I'm sure he will be able to speak to that, why it took that long. So you cannot put a timeline on something that you are not in total control. For example, government had to take another, as the water committee, we engaged a cost estimator. Government just engaged another cost estimator. And the cost estimator found out that when they got to the plant, they had to even install flow charts, flow meters, to even be able to start dealing with the problem. Even to locate where the pumps were, took them 2 weeks. So you need the details for you to now say, oh, an EXCO, if you give 2 years, it doesn't work like that when it comes to government. Even the drainage issue happened 17 years ago. We're still going to allow SAR for it. Thank you.
I would say that particular question was directed to the current vice chairman. So I don't think Honorable Silk will have that question to ask. I don't know what is happening with our Zoom. Are we back up?
Can I say something, please?
You are back up? Okay, I think we should have Kayode Sufiano,
Okay.
if it's still.
Excuse me, somebody is standing.
Who is standing?
Here, I'm standing here. I'm standing here.
Okay, I mean, I didn't see you raise your hand.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so
Can
I
somebody?
say what I want to say so that I can sit down? Is it okay? Thank you.
Okay, you can sit down if you want to sit down. I wanted to ask someone to hand you a mic if you wanted to ask a question.
Well, let me just say what I have to say and then I can sit down. Thank you so much. I was just going to say that if a question is asked, and the current vice chairman is answering, if the new contestant wants to answer the question, it would be nice if you answer that question and let's be honest with it. Because if you live in VGC, you should know the problems that are on ground. And I expect that if you're answering the question, even though the question is not directed at you, you should tell us the truth about what you know and what you think you can do. Thank you.
Honorable Silk, I don't know if you're prepared for the last question. If you are, you can answer.
Well, a question that was directed to her, I think is the question that she can answer. But if there's a general question, then I can, of course, answer that question. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah.
I think what can we have decorum, please?
Yeah.
Can we have a decorum, please? Hello. Hello. I think I understand where Honorable Silk is coming from, but if there's anything that you would do differently, or there are problems that you identify and how you can deal with it, maybe you can answer in that regard. I do not know if you heard what I just said. Could you sit down, please?
Okay. Okay.
I just asked, listen to me.
Okay.
I just asked Honorable Silk
Okay.
to answer the question best way he can.
Okay. Okay. So please, can we all calm down, please? Let's take it easy. We're not quarreling yet. We have come here to serve our community. We're not quarreling. We have come here to serve our community. Yeah. Let's all calm down. Yeah. Yes. Yes. There's no problem. Yeah. I think that anyone that wins is eminently qualified to serve us. And we are privileged to have all these kind of people coming out to render service. So we should appreciate that. There are some communities, they can't find people to come out. They can't find people to come out. So this is not something that we want to quarrel about. But if I want to say something in regard to the question that was asked and that was directed to her, if I have the opportunity to work on a project like the water that we are currently talking about. I've not been in that committee. I don't have details of what they have done so far, so I can't speak to what they have done. Yes, but part of the, yes, part of my experience and what I also teach. And I say this seriously because I think is at the center of the solution to most of the problems that we have is stakeholder engagement and relationship management. Some of these issues can be resolved through stakeholder engagement and relationship management. Whatever the context may be, we have delays in time. We have issues with water. We have issues with electricity. There are interests. There are a lot of people with different influences. All we need to do, if I have to, work with that kind of process, is to find out where are the interests here. How do we push our interests forward in a situation where there are contending interests? How do we leverage the influences of the people who are in the government and all the stakeholders that have interest in the matter? I cannot say to you, I'm going to reduce the process from 2 years to 3 months or a month. I have not worked on it yet. But if I apply the skills that I know of, I think that everything is about the human relationship. And it's possible to get things to move a little bit faster if you leverage that. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Honorable Silk. There's a question directed to the current Vice Chairman from Rotimi Olajide. And it says, do you agree that it is concerning that while you say the 2000 Naira bill at the gate is based on vehicles per the bylaw, if indeed in practice, the operatives at the gate tax people based on items like personal household goods, do you agree that such collections are illegal?
Thank you so much. Who am I? This constitution was written before I became EXCO member. If you open to page 50 of the constitution, all the taxes are there. So if you elected me to keep the rules, who am I not to keep the rules? That's what I was elected to. And I will also add to that, our maintenance fees is low, but to the glory of God, by half year, last year, from collections from this page, we were able to make 31 million that we used to shore up the price of diesel that went up. If not, we will not even be able to run street lights. So these are kind of the things that this money do. And we are not the ones, it's not the EXCO that made the rules. It's on page 50. So except you are saying our constitution is illegal, Mr. Rotimi Olajide, except you are saying the constitution is illegal, that's when you can say it's illegal. It's on page 50, thank you.
Honorable Silk, I don't know if you have anything to add or to answer that question.
We have a constitution, and I think that, the constitution should guide our actions. However, just to add to what we are doing, I think that the focus really, like I said earlier, should be about how to improve the inflows. It should be about how to really improve inflows. If we focus so much on what we collect in terms of maintenance fees, asking people, and all that, a lot of people here are retired. We have some young people who are coming in and they can easily take these bills. But I think that, yeah, if we increase the inflows, it will be possible to take care of so many of the problems that we do have in the estate. For example, we're talking about diesel for street lights. Suppose we can get solar. Is it impossible to get solar? Is it impossible? Is it possible for us to get people to finance this? Can we get some companies to take this on as their corporate social responsibility? Do we have people in this estate that sit on boards of companies that, you know, have renewable energy solutions? Can't we leverage those opportunities? Why are we still talking about roads, infrastructure? We have Julius Berger here as well that we can pursue. It can become part of their corporate social responsibility to help us with the estate. I mean, these are just ideas. We can come up with new ideas. But like I said, my role will be the role of a spare tire. A vice chairman helps the chairman. The vice chairman helps the chairman. I cannot be claiming I will do this, I will do that. I'm not the chairman, no. If elected, I will not be chairman. I can only support the chairman to do the job. I want to be clear where the lines should be drawn so that I don't start saying things that I am not going to be, I wouldn't have any power to do. My role will be to support the person with my own ideas, with my experience, with all the kinds of networks that I've been able to build over the years. Thank you very much.
Okay. Before you go, we have another question from Miss, I think he has raised his hand to speak, is online. Mr. Godwin Okodua, are you online? You have the floor.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator, Mr. Silk and Miss Current VC. But this question is to Mr. Silk. I will reiterate. I was saying, what would you do differently from the current vice chairman? I hear you talk about stakeholders and leveraging your networks over the years. But what will you do differently from the current vice chairman? Why are you seeking for this position? I mean, there must be a reason. And I'm sure there are things you feel can be better. I want you to be specific. You've spoken like you're canvassing for the current VC. Please, I want you to be I want you to be unique in your delivery. I want you to be very different. You didn't come here to support the current VC. You came here because you felt you could do something differently. Please tell us why we should vote for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Like I said, I don't want to take up the role of the chairman. And I don't think that is what the role of the vice chairman should be. The vice chairman should support the chairman in the role that the chairman has. However, are there some things that I think that I can contribute to support the chairman? Yes, there are a few things that I think that I may be able to contribute. And I think I've shared a few of them already. I said that I'm interested in how we can rebuild and re-strengthen the relationships that we have. That is, for me, the reason why I want to serve. I see a community that is divided, that when we come for meetings, it becomes a bit rancorous. And it shouldn't be. People are already raising tempers. Over what? To serve our community. I don't think that we need to have this kind of division. So for me, it's about how many of us miss VGC Club? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. A lot of us miss those social interactions. I was speaking to Rex earlier, and I said to him, the part that you're going to play is very significant because we need to start interacting more as people who live in a community. We are not struggling for anything. This is nowhere to make money. VGC Pora is nowhere to make money. It is not where to make money. People should look for money elsewhere. But if you feel like serving your community, you should come here. And like I said, I have been teaching people how to make money and how to do a whole lot of different things, a lot of specialized skills. And I do that in one of the best schools in Africa. Whatever experience I have acquired over the years, I will put that at the disposal of the chairman, whoever emerges as the chairman. And if he says, help me to do this, I will do it. But I'm not going to claim or take over the job that a chairman has been elected to do. Thank you.
Okay, to answer that question, my friend here, Mr. Silk, does not know the role of the vice chairman. The vice chairman is in charge of maintenance, cleaning of the roads. When you see me in my sports wear in the morning, I'm checking dustbin. I'm checking that the roads are well swept. I'm checking that the gutters are okay. These are part of the roles of the vice chairman. So the vice chairman is not just there as spare tire. It's a lot of work to be vice chairman. The chairman, the work, well, by the time you get one house, please, by the time you get into the EXCO, everybody's work is spelled out. The secretary is supposed to communicate. The social is to do this. The finance people look at the books. The vice chairman makes sure that this estate is sparkling clean. And the vice chairman also makes sure that the fire truck is working. When it's raining, your roads are drained. The vice chairman has her work or his work cut out. The vice chairman is not an extra tire for anybody. And my chairman, thank you. My chairman is sitting here. If you are not a good follower, you can never be a good leader. I have followed this man and I've helped him. And the work that he has given me, I have showcased it this evening. I have done them. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from someone online. Levina Duru. If you're online, unmute yourself and ask your question. Levina. Are you there? Okay, we have somebody. Mr. Kade, Sofiano, and Godwin, please lower your hand since you're not asking questions. I think I'll take one more question from the gentleman in the blue, in the navy blue t-shirt. Okay, well, sorry. Look.
Thank you very much. For the vice chairman, excuse me, please. For the new man that is contesting for the vice chairman, this question is for you. Do you belong to the Telegram for VGC? Do you?
Yes.
Please, what will you do about the fake news on that platform? Then, for the current chairman and vice chairman, you are telling us here today about what the government is doing concerning the water. Why have you not told us this since? And why is it now? Excuse me, audience, please. Audience, please.
Hello, can we have some orderliness, please?
And if you think, are you sure, if you're going to say that the residents are aware, are you sure that all the residents are actually aware of this information that you just gave us? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Telegram, fake news, hate speeches. These are issues that we have with online platforms, not just the one in VGC that we're all part of. And what contributes to this problem? You see, when there is a gap in communication from the leadership, the gossip mill takes over. And this is what is a very big problem. Like I like the idea shared by some of the contestants for the Secretary General office, that they're going to do a lot to improve the communication platforms and also provide something like, a website that's going to help us. I served the community as chairman of the communication committee. And it's one of the ideas that I tried at that time to push forward. Unfortunately, I didn't get all the support that I needed from the people that I worked with at the time. And so we're not able to realize that. However, like I said earlier, it's something that we can resolve when we build better relationships. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. The bad blood is not necessary. I heard my fellow contestants say that I don't know about this, or that I didn't refer to her in the questions that I answered. It is not necessary, because it becomes like an attack. When you say that I don't know, you can answer your own question without necessarily denigrating. Yeah, and I didn't do that. So let's keep this clean and decent. When we are going to do everything that is possible if we have the opportunity to serve our community, but whoever wins should continue. I think she's eminently qualified to be in that position, and she's done well so far. So if you have confidence that she can continue, you can give her your vote. However, if you think that you want someone else to try, I'm also available to serve. But it's not going to be any kind of quarrel. And I think I want to keep it at that. Thank you very much.
Mr. Silk.
I'm not Mr. Silk. I'm Professor Silk.
Professor Silk, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you.
Yeah.
You are a perfect gentleman, and but I wasn't attacking your person at all. I was just emulating the role. Then coming to the question on Telegram. The problem is that 19 years ago, when I started attending meetings, I noticed that there were fragmentations 19 years ago. And I've noticed that the same set of people keep fragmenting these estates with a lot of news that are not true. So in coming into this new dispensation, what we need to do is disseminate some of the fake news and the rumors that are being carried. We will itemize them one by one and then give all the appropriate responses with documentation. Because, and also, I was saying before that our community people normally don't read. So we have decided that we will have a display board so that when they are driving into the estate, it's being scrolled on the display board. And also, we are going to start doing short playlets because I noticed that people like drama. So these playlets will bring back the communication and the things that are going on. I'm sure when they see that it's drama, they will read it because we've tried all forms of communication. People still keep saying that they didn't see it. Thank you. And then the second question on the water. Now I can't seem to remember the question. Okay, it boils down to the same thing. A communication went out. Immediately, Lagos State appointed somebody from the Ministry of Justice to be the mediator. And the governor ensured that one of his special senior advisor is a witness to the mediation. So he had been coming for that meeting Finally, they appointed a cost estimator who has now finished his job. This week we are going into. This message was sent out. It was sent out. But if you send it out to Telegram and you have 400, somebody called me recently and said there are 420 unread messages. Well, I don't have the date on top of my head, but it was sent out and we will resend it again. It was one house, please. It was sent out and we will re-forward it with the date it was sent out. Thank you.
Okay, we have one more question. A gentleman raising his hands on my far right. Can someone hand him a mic, please?
I
There's a
put my
gentleman
hand
over
up
here.
before. I have to actually say this. Communication is very key, but I am witness and evidence of receiving everything the vice chairman has said they have sent. They send the letters, they send your emails. I even responded to the security questions and they responded to me. You know, you see this thing, sometimes you get messed or mixed up in all your emails, so you don't see. I particularly have a passion for living here. So everything that concerns VGC, I take on. I go to Morufat, I talk to Gian, I talk to Lola, and that's what it is. We all need to be interconnected and do our part. One person or just a set of people on an estate of 10,000 people will not be able to do it.
Okay, I'm going to take one more question.
Good evening. My name is Oyeleye Babatomiwa. Close 53, house E63B. My question is for both of you, please. I would like to know the measure you want to put in place to crop or to stop access code users from using the visitors, the access card, the residence access card lane. Eventually they get to the front, then they now diverge into the access road, cause a lot of traffic for we that use our cards to swipe to get into the estate. 2, 3, 4 cars, you see them trying to get into the access code lane, but they're coming all the way from the back. And then it causes a lot of backlog for us to use the access card. Please, I would like to know how you intend to resolve that issue.
Okay, so thank you. I also want to, as we start to round up, I also want to reiterate that I've read the VGC Constitution. I've read it very well. The duties assigned to the vice chairman are not some of the things that we're discussing here tonight. However, can the chairman assign the vice chairman to some responsibilities, help me, support me to do this and do this? Yes, the chairman can do that. And what I want to say here is that some of these things, when we start to, we need to understand where the lines lie, all right? Problems like the one that you just mentioned, that's not rocket science. We've talked a lot about communication, and communication is in everything that we do. If people get that message ahead, you know, we can do a lot more with signage and even a little bit more with enforcement at the beginning, you know, and so we avoid that problem before it gets to the point where it becomes an obstruction, even for everyone. But is that what the vice chairman, you know, is supposed to do? Maybe not. But if a chairman says, whoever the chairman becomes says, help me and ensure that this problem is resolved, I'm sure that with the experience that I have, I can articulate ways that we can communicate this better to people who are driving into the estate. So it doesn't, you know, it's not until they get to that point where they start to realize, oh, this is not the lane I should be in. maybe with a lot of information, we can avoid that. Thank you.
Okay. That problem is one that is ongoing. Most of the time when the security people approach them that, do you have a resident card and all that, they tend to tell them off most of the time until, until they get to the barrier, and then they realize that it's only card you can use, you can't use the code. So what is going to happen is that we're going to try and put messages on. If you look up, you will see that, oh, if you have resident lane and still they don't read it, they just keep driving. Even when they say stop, 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 they're like, we'll go somewhere. So, but going forward now, I think that since it's delaying our residents, it's something that the security committee will have to look at and then provide a solution to it going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. We have 2 people online for additional questions. Lavina Duru, are you online now? Lavina Duru.
Hello.
Mr. Rotimi.
Yeah, this is Rotimi Olajide Adetolu again. Thank you very much.
Right.
Our current vice chairman, I want to say thank you for your service. And I want to assure you that I have no doubt about your good intentions to serve our community. So, and it's not taking your contribution or your efforts are not taken for granted. At the same time, I would like to say the issue of this collection at the gate, I raised it at the last EGM, and I raised it again today, and your earlier answer did not address it at all. You just keep referring to the constitution or bylaw. I have a copy of it in front of me. What does it say? It says collection is based on vehicles. In practice, collection is based on taxing household items, which, even if it was in the constitution, which it is not, would be illegal. So that is my point, and I'm saying, how will you address this thing? And don't you think that it's a matter of concern that in several fora, in the EGM, in the Telegram platform, you personally have responded that what they are practicing is what is in the bylaw, while in practice, what they are doing at the gate is what is not in the bylaw, and which I say that even if it was in the bylaw, will have been illegal. They have no right to collect a tax on my fridge that I bought, on my gas cooker that I bought. They have no right, only government has the right to collect VAT or any other kind of tax. And that is what is happening at the gate. Is it not concerning to you that your opinion, the opinion of the management and other EXCO members is that what is in the bylaw is being done, but in practice, what is being done is different from what is in the bylaw? Is it not of concern that you are not aware of what's happening at the gate? Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think if you have this concern, at the next general meeting, you can raise it, because in December, I tried to I brought in a treadmill and I was made to pay 2,000 because it was in a bus. So this is the practice currently. If you are bringing in heavy equipment, they collect commercial vehicles and buses, 2,000 naira. So I also paid the 2,000. But if it's a concern to you, as a resident, you have a right. As a resident, you have a right. When the next meeting is holding, you raise the resolution and let the community vote on it. And then if the resolution is carried, but as it is now, is written here that if a commercial vehicle is bringing an item for you, an heavy item, you have to pay for it. And even if they can see the one that brought the treadmill for me was a private vehicle. Sir, like I said, it's in the law. If you have a concern at the next meeting, you have the right. You have the right to raise it.
It's not in the law.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
It's not in the law. What's in the law is vehicles.
Time up. Time up.
It's not in the law. What's in the law is
it's 11.
vehicles. So you are charging.
Levin Aduro. Nobody. Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Silk and Lawyer Lola. Thank you very much indeed.